we will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here.
I must be the greatest.
The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I took up the road.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, and we are Blocking Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and give them. Today, we are bringing you back inside the locker room where we talk about topics in and around the game. So, MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So today's topic, man, you may have heard her name, and if you haven't, you're definitely in a rock somewhere, living in a cave. Sha'Carri, is it Richardson? It's Richardson, right?
Yes, sir.
She's come on, and she actually had a little a little clip where she taught us all how to say her name. It's Sha'Carri. So, man, I guess let's just jump into it, man. Talking about just like the rise and fall, man. I think that's what we can kind of categorize this in such a short term, man.
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts when you hear her name now, and when we talk about just like the rise and fall? Like, how did you first kind of come to hear about her name?
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Exactly.
To be honest, I mean, I like to stay up on my sports, but. You know, her rise to stardom, I guess, is just kind of a microcosm of what society is now. Didn't really know about her, you know, like I said, a month ago, and now, you know, because of recent news, you can kind of, you know, see her everywhere. But you know, she's a Texas girl. I had a lot of roots in that Dallas area, so love there. Mm-hmm. She's a young girl, only just turned 21, really.
And really quick, when you say Texas, I mean, we had Jerome, talk about what that Texas track speed and track life is about. So
yeah,
so she was down there, with those thoroughbreds, and I mean, even in high school, was like tearing up records and just doing her thing.
Yeah, I mean, you went in 8 state titles or whatever that number is in the state of Texas.
8.
Yeah, I think you something. And then if you go to the SEC and track, scholarship,
still
that's another. Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, just a relatively young girl that, is at the height of at the peak, I guess, of her career, or getting there.
Right.
I guess some unfortunate decisions. We'll get to that.
Yeah, so
let us talk about her a little more.
Absolutely. So, she has the what do you want to say, the basis of it, right? Like coming from Texas, having I didn't know she had all those awards like that in Texas, in high school, because some people come out of their shell, in college and just do big things, but she's been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
So now, here comes the accolades where you're seeing her on these videos, breaking these records, and her flashiness. I think that's what started her to get noticed, for good or for bad. The hair and the nails, and then, just kind of throwing up the set.
Yeah.
Just being very competitive and not humble. I don't want to say not humble. I'm not saying she's not humble, but just, when you're
fast, you're fast.
You're fast.
Do what you want to do.
And that's where it's at.
Right.
So she did get some hate, so then it was starting to be, all right, we were celebrating it. Like, we were like, oh, dang, she fast. And like, look at her do her thing. And then you have like announcers pointing it out. And then the slow transition and comparison to FloJo comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's an easy comparison, right? Like that was the lazy comparison to have, but she never really kind of embarked on it or talked about it. Like I've never seen her come out and pay homage or kind of assimilate herself to that.
Yeah, and somebody can correct us if we're wrong, if we missed a grand thing where she said, yeah, FloJo is my one, but
right,
as you mentioned, yeah, I haven't really heard that as well. I think she's kind of one of one. Like I said, I mean, she started with the mind of being a collegiate athlete, and she was on record saying how that was a huge accomplishment. And then, a few months after that, she's like, yeah, Nike about to sign me. I'm about to just turn pro. Like, I'm trying to, the Olympics are the ultimate goal anyway, so I might as well get to it now. And obviously she had the resume to do it and the times to do it. So I think she's kind of, like I said, one of one, and that's her style. But again, when you're fast, you can do what you want to do. And then there's a certain flair that helps you, be recognized by brands and stuff,
Right.
So I don't think it hurts her at all. And I think she's probably fully aware of that, being a 21-year-old growing up in today's world. It's a good way to brand herself. So
and you have to stand out, man. Like Nike's not signing basic motherfuckers, right? So like you got to do something.
Correct.
And it's almost one of those things where, it's not like it hasn't been done before. Like if you're that fast, like you show, especially our culture, right? So I mean, you had Hussein, right? He used to kind of do all of that stuff, when he was torching people.
Yeah.
What was your boy that he played football, I think, too, and was on the USA team, like took the fire extinguisher to his shoes.
Yeah, doing a whole yeah. That's
That's part of it.
Yeah.
If you're that fast, right? Like that
Right.
that kind of comes with that. So it just seems that
I mean, Carl Lewis started singing for no reason. God forgive me. I shouldn't have said that.
Singing badly. But hey, he could do it. Like he's the fastest man, because he was wearing those shorts as well.
Yeah.
But like, so I just think it's one of those things like with the height, she was doing things that was just in her lane. And it's just a shame that some people don't like to see. It's like, oh, you need to win this way, or don't understand the sport and just want to come in late and throw salt in the game.
It's not nothing new. I mean,
it's not.
Mentioned FloJo. I mean, Jackie Jordan Kersey was similar the same way. She had her own type of flair. So like, I mean, you fast, you do fast stuff. Who cares?
Rocking the one leg leotard.
Yeah. Whatever. Just do what you want to do.
So now she's at the pinnacle. She runs these. She's going to the Olympics, right? Like it's just that's the goal, especially in track, right? Like this is where you get paid. Like you said, the endorsements and all those things come in. So she's she's there. The props from social media, everybody's kind of engaged and know who this new talent that's going to represent the USA in the Tokyo Olympics, which have been postponed. We're already going through all of that mindset. We have Tiana on and, Bartoletta, and she was talking about how those challenges or mindsets will be when you're working 4 years and it's delayed a year.
All right.
And then she got a dirty piss test. That's what it came down to. She got popped. So I think I just want to sit here and get your kind of perspective and let's talk through this. Where do you feel, before you kind of get in your opinions, where do you feel that weed or marijuana or CBD fits in the sports world, in today's sports world? Let's make sure we.
Yeah. First of all, I think the body reacts and, athletes use different methods to recover or, I guess to de-stress or whatever, however you want to talk about, taking care of their body.
Right.
Or taking care of even their mental state in some situations. Athletes take different avenues to do that, whether that be CBD, whether that be reading. I don't know. There's a lot of different things they can do.
Right.
To compete at the highest level. Right. So I don't think this is something new to sports. At all.
Well, let's ask Ricky Williams.
Correct. Right. I mean, we can ask a lot of folks. So like
we can ask a lot of folks.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't something. This is something that I knew in high school, right? So like, this ain't nothing that's new.
And let's be happy it was weed and not the cocaine boys of the Chicago Bulls.
Correct. Yeah. As Michael Jordan told on everybody.
Told everybody.
But I don't think this is new to it, and I think as I guess as a society, I don't know if understanding or accepting, I don't know what the proper way of saying it is, but you know, obviously it's legal in different states now, right? So it's at least decriminalized to a certain degree.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of different opinions of how you want to get to it on that.
Right. And I know ultimately we're going to get into the fact that, like, you know, it's a rule. So we'll save that. We'll get into that. But I just definitely think that we're past understanding, you know, what weed or cannabis is and the different levels of it, and how it's used to treat certain, like you said, the recovery, mental, just all of that stuff.
Right.
So I think as the Olympic Games, they need to get past that, because I don't care what you say, but I don't believe that the Jamaicans are passing all their drug tests just off the GP, right? Like, so I think it's something that they need to revisit and understand that more, just with all the regions of where people are coming from, the advancements of medical marijuana and all of that good stuff. But I definitely don't agree with the fact that they're saying that, like, it enhanced her, right? Like,
I mean, depending on, I mean, I got some little chapstick that you get that has like the little leaf on it. I don't know what it is, right? So, but shit, my lips won't be chapped for 2 whole weeks. So
super moisturized.
Whatever formula they did to create that, boy, it's some good stuff. So I don't know if it's performance enhancing or not, based on what that chapstick has done for me in my life.
We had a lot of weed smokers come out on her defense talking about, like, listen, I'm not running as fast as that after I smoke a blunt or two. So,
yeah, Seth Rogen.
Putting the other people's though. And so the weed heads came out, support her, and then, you know,
there's a lot of support.
People appreciated that she took it, right? She's like, you know what? I did it. These are the reasons why I did it. You know, give me a punishment. You know, I'm not gonna cry about it. You know, stand up for it and take it, right? So, LSU, they did that video. I don't know if you saw. I just recently saw that one. So all the LSU alumni track women, they put like a little montage together to, you know, kind of going like, oh, you know, we make mistakes. You know, we've all made mistakes, and, you know, again, as a 21-year-old, like, I can't like, going to the Olympics is like such on a status from what I was doing at 21,
right?
And the dumb things that I was doing at 21, to like almost get kicked out of school, to just all the dumb stuff you do, like experience in life growing up, right? So she's had a lot of support. So the issues, all right, and then I definitely want to get just your overall opinion on the situation, because I know you're ready. I can see it in your face.
I'm good.
So, you know, so she got caught. It was after the 100. She got tested, and she failed the test. She accepted it was a 30-day was what was put on the line, which I kind of want to look into that, like, because is that your first offense? It's like 30 days. Like, we're only like a warning out here in these streets, or first offender type thing. But especially when you talk about the Olympics, a once in 4 year thing, I just thought that could have been handled differently. Anyway, so she gets the suspension, and then there's you know, the news surface that there's still hope that she can run the 4x1. So that was the kind of thing that she rested in, which is like, okay, cool. I'm taking a punishment, and then I'm not getting fully, you know, punishment. She still gets to run the 4x1 with the rest of the team. And then the news comes out today, like, nope, her own team says, oh no, you can't run with us, cuz we'll catch you in 4 years. So it's like we said, the rise and fall, right? The ups and downs that she deals with. So what is your stance on all of it?
Well, for one, we've mentioned her age being 21. So
yeah, that changed you really quick.
It changed me a little bit in a couple ways. For one, you know, the track career is not really that long, but assuming that she'll, you know, keep her body up and there's the world champions, this shouldn't be her only opportunity to, you know, God said the same, kind of represent the country at the Olympics. So hopefully she'll be pointed to the next summer games. And to your point, I think my youngest nephew just turned 21. Not my youngest one, but one of my brother's kids. He just turned 21. So like, seeing him, literally remember him as a kid, I'm like, dang, 21 is not old. Like, I still think of him as like little Sha'Carri, and he's like a full grown man, right?
Right.
And like I said, to your point, I was 21 once, and God knows what I was doing at 21. But that's where I kind of stop, to be honest. Where my sympathy kind of stops.
Okay.
Because the Olympics don't come around very often.
Correct.
And
every 4 years.
I just think you have to have a little more discipline as an athlete or as a human to, hey, chill off on, smoking a blunt for a little bit so you can live out your dream. I think if a blunt is a little more important than your dream, I think there needs to be some reevaluation to our priorities at this point, in my opinion. Right. Now, I know there's some circumstances about, she got news of a death in the family, and I think her biological mom, and
her mom,
that everybody copes with tragedy and different things differently. So there's no judgment there. I just think, come on, man, we gotta have a little more discipline, baby girl, at this point, man. This is your opportunity to run the Olympics, live out the ultimate goal, as you stated. We can't fail that. If you know that there's a rule, right? And I know we've said, hey, it's legal in the state that she was in, and it's
because they did the trials in Portland, right?
Yeah, it's it's legal in some places, but the Olympics are an international game. So to your point, I don't know,
the IOC, the infamous IOC.
If it's legal in Portland doesn't necessarily mean it's legal in China. This is the Olympics. So like we got to be a little more disciplined if we want to live out our ultimate goal at that point. And I guess you live and learn at 21. I'm not judging her to that degree, but I don't really feel sorry for her either at all from that point. No.
So I don't know. So once I heard, and of course, my thing is once I heard it was a death, like, so, I lost my mom and my father. And once I heard that, if that's the real thing, now let's not get it twisted. Like, she could have been smoking blunts a long time ago, like, and she was just like, I got extra lifted today.
Right.
So, I hope that's not the case, but just, you stated it very well, right? Everybody grieves differently. So, it's a moment of not clarity, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot, man. Like, you're going to the Olympics, all right, at 21, your first trial to get to the Olympics. You're going to the Olympics. You lose and they kept saying her biological mom, right? So there could be like some trauma within that.
Right.
So where like she's really not around, but like that's still my mom, so it hurts, that I lose her, whatever. And that however that kind of situation was, because her grandmother was at the trials when she made it. And she ran up emotional and hugged her mom. So I don't know if she had smoked a blunt before the race, or like that was like a victory blunt, or however it was, assumed or consumed.
Yeah, I think I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that she kind of found out via the interview, like a reporter kind of asked, like told her, like broke the news to her type of thing.
I think I heard that, but like that didn't sink in until just now. So that's even. It's like, you're doing an interview, like, hey, your mama dead. Like,
right.
Like, hold on, what? Right. So it's about the process, because is their father there, right? So, because we talked about her mom, we talked about her grandmother. So what's her situation that she's living in, right? And how do you handle that trauma? Is there like, a therapist for the team as she's going pro, just leaving LSU? That's where I am on that part of it, right? I definitely agree with you. Just like, I'm not judging, because the grieving process is so different for everybody else. I guess I want to move forward to the fact that she just stood up and she did accept it. That's where I think I give her the most credit, is because we can all make mistakes, and then certain people cover up the mistakes, right? You had like Ryan Lochte was like robbing fools and doing all kinds of things. And then he said he got jumped like after he tore up a Olympic, room and all of that stuff. And then come down the line, he's like, oh no, man, I was just in a really bad place or whatever, whatever excuse was for that situation. She just came out like a G and owned it. So that's where I think I elevate her props for it. And I think the other part is I still don't understand like the penalty level. Like this is her first time, hopefully, like, and it had to be because they didn't say, oh, well, she's failed a drug test before or she did something else before.
Right, because they would have if
they would have tore her ass up if it was.
Right.
So, but you shaking your head, you just say like,
yeah, I mean, I think if you're dealing with the Olympics, I mean, the penalty just kind of has to be stiff, right? Like you can't have I remember, I don't necessarily remember, but I had the pleasure of being in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, Korea. We used to live out there.
What did you say?
I was there.
Okay.
I was there. And my dad has told me millions of stories about Ben Johnson, the sprinter from Canada, how he just whooped Carl Lewis and everybody was like, bro, this dude he owns something and he failed a drug test, right? So like you can't really, I mean, when you're at that pinnacle of, I guess this is the height for the Olympics, I think you have to be stiff with rules. Now, we could say that is marijuana enhancing? Maybe not, right? But at the same time, like, I mean, the rules are the rules, right? Simone Biles had a live type of thing, the gymnast, and it's kind of like day in the life or what it takes to qualify. And Simone Biles, I think maybe her mid-20s, older for a gymnast, but not an old girl at all. The GOAT, by the way. But she thought she had COVID, and she had to call her trainers like, hey, let me read the label to you. Can I take this aspirin? And ultimately she didn't take it, but that takes the level of discipline to know like, hey, I don't want something to come up. I just have a headache. Can I take this, that type of thing?
Right.
There's a discipline there. And so I go to, like I said, to your point, I don't know who was in Miss Richardson's corner when that time of need for her. But at the same time, like, yo, this don't happen every year. It's not like the Olympics are in December too, right? So like there has to be a level of like,
nah, man,
come on. This is
so.
discipline as an athlete.
Because you don't have that discipline, especially when you have that discipline.
What do you mean? You have to have that discipline to get to the level that she's at as an athlete. There has to be discipline there.
When you torture people like that, man, because she's at another level, man. She's at another level. And I think when people are good at that level,
it's not because of
Deion Sanders was not when he was playing. I mean,
I disagree. There's to get to the level of you being a professional or the elite of the elite, there's some level of discipline that goes into what you're doing. You're taking, it's not just all God-given. There's no way you can get there just all God-given ability.
So Shaq said many a times, like, man, we could have won a couple more championships if I had discipline.
There's a level of discipline that it takes to get there. You have to pass class to get to be eligible. That's a level of discipline. You have to literally go to practice to perfect your craft at a certain level. I think that's discipline. You're not going to just run. It's not like she's racing her homegirls down the street. Like there's a level of
she used to got started.
Well, I mean, the way she starts her 100, from the way she finishes her 100 to the way her stride perfection is, it's not just she's just out there running. Like there's a level of discipline to an athlete at that level. So she has it in there. I just think you have to practice it in all walks of life if you want to get there. We talked,
man. Because the thing is, man, at a certain point, it becomes your routine. It's not a discipline; it's a routine, and we find routine sometimes in life that's what sets the course for it. And there's some discipline, like, yeah, let's go to practice, but it's like it's her routine that she has to go do these things. About this moment of this mistake, I don't think that's where discipline comes in, right? Like that's where you're.
I know that's why there was so weird. That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's about discipline when shit comes up. Like when you stub your toe, You don't be like, okay, I have to be disciplined and not cuss because I'm working not to cuss. You know what I mean? You stub your toe.
I think that's a different scenario.
But what I'm saying is like this is a different scenario. Like people, your mom doesn't die every day, right? Like you don't agree. You don't know how you're gonna react if you would lose anyone listening until they lose a loved one, right? So I don't think that has anything to do with discipline because there's really nothing in life or around that sets you up for that. So that's why I'm saying like I don't believe it's a discipline thing. I think her values that she has allowed her to look at it and say, yes, I'm taking ownership. I think there's a multiple set of skills that are coming into play, but I don't think discipline is the one that said, no, I'm not going to smoke this blunt. That's what I guess I'm saying. Like, I get you, like your level of success and, like, I mean, we're both athletes, right? Like there's a reason why people stop at middle school and stop at high school and stop at college and pros, right? Because there's a level of effort and discipline put in there. But I don't think that that situation, how she's explained it, had anything to do with discipline.
Well, I'll put it this way.
Okay.
Opportunities present themselves at different times with different people in life. Some people avoid more opportunities than others. We don't know when our opportunities present itself. We don't know when that window is open or closed. We don't know how far that window is open or closed, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, she's an elite athlete, and hopefully there's no injuries or anything of that nature or anything that happens as in life, right? Mm-hmm. That might make that window of the opportunity shorter.
Right.
I guess to my point is, and this is not coming from a perfect person. We all make mistakes. We've all wasted an opportunity. We've all blew a chance. Like
fall short from the grace of God.
We've all fall short in some areas. I guess I'll leave it. I'll say it this way. It's just like, I hope, and I hope for her that this wasn't her opportunity that might have been gone to excel or reach a goal that she had set as a child, right?
Like her only, you mean?
I don't think it's her only goal. I'm sure she has only some other goals, but I'm sure like as a track athlete, I mean, she left school early to become an athlete to get to the Olympics, right? I just hope that, hey, I am really close to my goal, that I didn't eliminate myself under something that maybe I could have controlled a little bit.
Right.
Now, again, like I said, we all deal with situations differently, but I guess when I say discipline, I think about things that I can control. If COVID happened tomorrow again and they stop the Olympics, then she can't really control that. That opportunity is missed. That's out of her hands. But failing the drug test knowingly, not something that you mistakenly did, like knowing the rules, failing the drug test, that's a little bit more in your control. And that's where I guess my sympathy, not that it matters coming from me, but it just kind of changes in my opinion. Like I said, to your point, you're absolutely right. I think we deal with things differently, so maybe that was a way to cope. Maybe that was a way, whatever the reason for it. I'm praying for the young lady, right? That's tough. And again, we've talked about this as like being more than an athlete. I mean, you're forcing a little girl. I didn't know about her a month ago. We didn't really know about her a month ago. And she's kind of thrusted into, Good Morning America, just 12, you know what I mean? Right. She was a normal girl that's a track athlete. Maybe not normal, but she was just a track athlete before with maybe 10,000 followers. And now she's, a million followers on social out of nowhere. Right. And, everything that she does, has consequence to it, right? So there's a lot to take in. I'm not poo-pooing on that. I just think I just hope that you don't do something to eliminate yourself because we don't know how long that window is, right?
Absolutely. So we're lifting prayers for her. I think one last thing I guess I want to bring up, because we may do a full show on it. It depends on how aggressive it gets as we get closer. But, since this announcement, it seems like a lot of people in our culture are talking about boycotting the Olympics. You know, one, not watching it, and two, actually starting to kind of talk to these athletes and see if they would not run, which is a tough position to put these athletes in. What's your thoughts about those two kind of aspects? One, just really putting those athletes in the spot, in the area to not run, and then two, us as a culture wanting to boycott watching the Olympics.
I'll answer, I guess, the first one first. So, as far as putting the athlete, it's just, I guess it depends on who would ask them to boycott, right? If it's me telling them, hey, I think you should boycott this, I think that's just disrespectful. I'm on my couch, right? They're in the Olympics. Who am I to tell them to not do their dreams, right? So, like, I think that's hella disrespectful on many levels. Right now, if this was an athlete thing that they wanted to, coordinate amongst themselves, right? That's another topic. But if it's just talking heads talking about y'all should boycott, we shouldn't even do that, then that's bullshit. Excuse my language, to be honest with you. But like, yeah, who am I to tell them what to do? As far as us as a people, as a culture, boycott, I mean, that's somebody's opinion. That might not be my opinion. I think, what I love about us, we all kind of grew up similar, but I guess what I love is what I hate too. I don't think we all have to think the same, right? So we don't have one brain. So if somebody believes that, that's fair. I don't think personally, I don't think it's, we should be boycotting the Olympics. I think that's somebody's goal and dream. And, if they want to sit out, then leave that to them. But I shouldn't judge them if they want to compete. Right. That's stupid to me. So that's how I feel about it.
I feel it. All right.
So what's your thoughts on that? That's interesting. I didn't even know about that.
So, yeah, asking someone to give up on their dream, that's a tough one. And no one's really in that position to feel one way or another. And then I think kind of going on your oneness and sameness is we as a people sometimes get these unthought through ideas and plans and like want to rush to something. Like the Olympics are less than 30 days away and we don't have no kind of run coordinator, no action plan. You just talk about let's boycott. Well, boycott for what? Like, what's the goal? Like, is it just because she's, got blocked out? And I think there was another Olympic athlete. Like, we just, because
the caps were
the swim caps got, for natural hair. So they didn't allow the swim caps in. So, and I just think, I guess I'll go back to this. My whole thing is I believe we should all help the cause in our own way. And that's the whole way I felt about like the BLM movement and all the things. Cause like, I'm not going to be your guy out walking the pavement, out protesting, yelling,
I don't mean to laugh.
I'm not out there yelling, no justice, no peace. Like, my plan is I believe, economic development and, getting, platforms like that we're doing to elevate us so we can start owning some shit. And that's where I think, because we're yelling and talking about I'm gonna boycott your games that I have no control over, and then they're gonna eventually be like, well niggas, we ain't really want y'all here. Now we can win some of these races. Like someone was like, there should be an asterisk on whoever wins 100 and whoever wins a 4x1, because the best is not there. So I think that's
not to them. Whoever win it, they're gonna be like, cool. They go to whatever country they are as a gold medal winner. They don't care about it. That's just how it is.
That's just how it is. And like, I'm not a type that believes in the asterisks in sports because all of that shit's a part of the game, right? Like you got injured, you failed a drug test, it was your off day. It is where it's supposed to be. So there's no asterisks, but it's just like, people have been, that's some comments and things you've been seeing.
It's interesting, man. This goes into a deeper discussion, but I was just talking to my dad today. I think we just have too much information as a society. Like, I don't think we're designed to have this much information and this much opinions. That's why a lot of things don't get solved. Because I just think we have too much information. So I'll leave it at that.
I don't know about too much. We
have too much.
I don't think that's ever. I just think we're not
We're not designed to have as much information as we do.
We're not equipped to handle the information. Yes.
We can turn into the sermon, you know. Because when Adam and Eve, when God made them, and they came back and they put stuff on there, he like, who told y'all naked?
I ain't never tell y'all.
I ain't never tell y'all that. Y'all got too much information now. Y'all done did some stuff. There's too much information. I just think we have a lot more information than we should. I'll put it like that. We can talk about that later. There's a deeper thought I have on that.
I like that one. Bet, man. All right, man. So as we wrap it up, man, you got anything, final thoughts, anything else for the people, man? Are you good to go?
I'm good, man. Like I said, man, I don't want any of my comments to think that I'm just hating on baby girl. Like, I wish her the best. I'm praying for her. I hope she can make it back on top. I hope she's a world champion. I hope she's eventually Olympic champion in the future. So,
and as they say, like all the things in life, right, man? How's that going to look? 5 years, 10 years from now, that's just not even going to matter. When she's rocking on that podium, like you said, the World Games and every other place that she can rock gold. So we definitely want the best for her. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Always comment, give us feedback, what you thought. Definitely if there's information that we missed or that you can share, we'll definitely, talk about it on our different platforms, and that's IG, Twitter, Facebook. So give us a follow if you're not following us there, and always give feedback and comments. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, man. It's definitely a great way to support us and watch the show, because we believe representation matters. So it's good to see, people doing great things. We are on every podcast platform. So wherever you listen to podcasts, come check us out. And please remember, stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Tap about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Sue me, I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.